Hey, Mike and Jordan, my name's Trey. I've been watching the How to Become a Personal Trainer podcast since 2022. Even before thinking about becoming a trainer, I love the podcast, hearing you guys banter, talk about different health and fitness related topics. I recently graduated from college in April of 2024 and have just started personal training the past 7 months at a commercial gym. I've trained family and friends in the past, but this has been my first time building actual clients outside of family and friends. My question is, do you think it's an appropriate time to start building an online presence, i.e. join the fitness business mentorship? Or would I benefit more from in-person personal training experience? I really enjoy training and love the feeling of helping people get into their fitness goals, but I am weighing whether or not this is a sustainable career path for me as a 22-year-old, still trying to figure out what I want to do with my life. Any input for you guys would be greatly appreciated. I love what you guys do and hope you have a great week. Best, Trey.
Love that. Thank you, Trey. Appreciate that. And he said he watches, so I'm assuming he watches on YouTube, which makes me super happy. So let's go. So there's a lot here. The first thing that comes to my mind is I was trying to do the math. If he graduated college in 24, he's probably born after 2000, which is just crazy for me, right?
Yeah, he's 22 years old and it's 2025.
Oh, geez,
so yeah.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. That makes you feel real old. But I started my online business at 21 and I started in-person coaching long before that. So the long and the short of it is you can and should do both at the same time. I don't think you should join the mentorship if you cannot afford it from the perspective of I wouldn't borrow money to join the mentorship.
Amazing that you went there. Hold that thought because the next question is amazing that you went there. I agree with you, by the way.
Yeah, I would. There's so much that you can do without paying money for our program or for any program, and especially borrowing it. Okay, that's number one.
Yep.
I would say getting in-person coaching experience is going to be incredibly beneficial. No matter what happens with AI, no matter what happens in the online world, in-person coaching experience will give you an ability to help people both in person and online that you wouldn't be able to do if you never did it. So highly encourage that. It's also a good opportunity to see if it's something that you really enjoy. Like if you just go in, you're like, I fucking hate this, then great, then stop and you don't ever have to go down this career path. You don't have to waste more time. So I would say you can and should do both. Now you can start coaching people in person and making online content. And like we've spoken about many times before, since you've been listening and watching for a long time, I would start by making content around what you're learning in your own training and your own nutrition and just sort of sharing your own story and things that you're learning about. And I would get in-person coaching experience and sharing stuff online. And that's how I would start.
Nailed it. Yep. Do both. And another huge benefit of being 22 years old is you can do both for 3 years. And if you realize it's not really what you want to be doing, cool, you're 25 and you can try something else. But
yeah,
do both is the right mentality because of where you're at in your career and throwing all the spaghetti at the wall and seeing what sticks is the right approach then. Later in your career is when it becomes more important to say no and focus on one or two more important things. Doing both is also the right thing to do because you don't need to be an expert to start making content online. And beginning to grow an audience by telling the truth about where you're at in your fitness journey, whether that's you getting yourself into shape, whether that's you, researching and learning and potentially taking courses, reading books, learning from your in-person clients, learning from the more established coaches at the gym you're going to work at. Everything you're learning, sharing that, as well as documenting your own training, nutrition, progress, etc. It's a good way to get better at making content. You can start to build an audience talking about those things without having to position yourself as an expert because you're not yet. And I've seen people try to do that. You end up feeling like a fraud because you are. If you aren't an expert in any field, set fitness aside, but you are posing as one online, like you're going to feel like you're going to get exposed constantly. So yes, start making content, but tell the truth about where you're at. And don't be afraid to say, I don't know things. You're getting a head start on the marketing side of your business by starting now on the content side rather than just coaching clients in person for 2 or 3 years and then pushing the content back to whatever, 2028.
Completely agree. And I still do that. I think it's important. When I must have been about 6 months ago now when I got my front, or like almost got my front splits. I had someone ask me in my comment section of a post being like, hey, can you make a program for the splits? And I replied and I said, listen, just because I've gotten my front splits doesn't mean I know how to program them. Like I'm still studying, I'm still learning. So it's probably going to be at least another year or so before I feel comfortable enough to put out a program that's going to help people achieve this. And the amount of people who replied and said like, this just makes me trust you even more to know that just because you got this, like you're not now going, oh, here, try my program, or here, try and tell me this, like, and publicly saying, I don't know enough yet to feel comfortable acting as an expert enough to sell a program on this. It just makes people trust you more. To know that you're not going to sell out, to know that you're not going to try and make a quick buck, like being honest about your current level of expertise, which to be fair is really difficult when you are starting from a place of very little knowledge to begin with, because once you gain any little bit of knowledge, you feel like you know a lot. But then later on down the line, when you know a lot, you feel like you know a little. But I think it's always better to go towards you will always have more to learn, always. So no matter where you are, always opt for saying, I could be wrong. I have a lot more to learn. You can't ever be wrong saying that, but you can be wrong when you are way too overly confident in whatever you believe.
Not to mention from a PR perspective and a likability perspective, humility is gold.
Yeah.
So it's the right thing to do and it's good strategy.
Correct.